Hi, I'm Karen from NME. I'm in Naarm, Melbourne, at Rising Festival, and I'm here with the Goon Sax. Hi guys, how's it
Hi.
going?
Good.
This is your first time playing Melbourne since you released your 2021 album Mirror 2, is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
How excited are you to play Melbourne again after so long?
So excited. I'm so excited. I think Melbourne has always been one of my favorite places to play, so I'm glad we're finally back.
Yeah, it's the first place we ever played away from home as well, so it's kind of feels weird that we haven't played here in so long. I guess it's well overdue.
Yeah, a lot of bands I love from Melbourne, and it's like pretty exciting. Yeah, hopefully, and bands that I've met from Melbourne also who I like the members. I met the members of the bands I liked, and that was really cool.
We are sitting in the green room at Max Watts in Melbourne just before sound check to play your show. So, what have rehearsals been like, and what can fans coming to see you this year expect from your live show?
So we've been on tour recently with Snail Mail, so we're feeling pretty well rehearsed. But for this set, we had to play quite a few more songs, so we started playing some old songs that we haven't played for quite a while. So it was a bit of a trip down memory lane.
Grabbing some skeletons from the closet,
Yeah.
coming out.
All the skeletons.
Yeah.
Expect skeletons, and also expect new, more fleshy things like from our new album.
Have you been, when revisiting the old material, have they kind of, when you're jamming on them, like, do they, turn, like, become different? Do they take on different arrangements and such?
I think that's actually been kind of an interesting thing. I don't know that we've been thinking about. There's some songs that you kind of naturally just start jamming on them. Like it's a chord progression that when you're playing it in the room and you're playing it now, like 7 years later, you can feel that it has the potential to like evolve into something else, and it almost wants to do that. But then I think on other songs we were trying to, restrain ourselves to not lose what we were trying to make when we wrote them, because it can be easy to just get excited about something sounding new and not necessarily being better. But yeah, hopefully we toe that line well. I mean, we're playing them all in a way that we're having fun playing them, and that's kind of for us, the most important thing.
You mentioned just now that you just ended a tour with Snail Mail and you were supporting her, Lindsay Jordan, in the US. So, and that was your first big tour, right, post-pandemic. So what was that experience like?
It was pretty surreal. The first show we played was in Orlando? Olympia.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, and it was in this old theater that was kind of like slightly falling apart, but it was really beautiful. And the crowd was very like lit up in front of us, so it was very like they're all almost at our level. So it was kind of like we were just playing to friends almost, it felt like, because they were super supportive, and they also felt like a crowd that I could really get down with as well. Like, yeah, it was great. It was funny because you could hear them so clearly and see them so clearly, so it was very straight back into the deep end in terms of performing and people seeing you and stuff like that. But they were also so supportive that it made coming back to playing pretty easy and pretty encouraging. So then the rest of the shows went pretty well after that.
Kind of decided that the young Americans are a good bunch. Yeah, I like
Love
the young Americans.
I love that, the young Americans.
Yeah, like who are into music seemed really nice. But it was I found it pretty intense. Like at first, like playing again. Yeah, after COVID and stuff.
You three have, a long list of tour dates lined up ahead of you this year. So where you going and who are you supporting?
So we're doing the Snail Mail tour starting next week through Europe, and then we're doing a few of our own shows in the UK. And then in August, September, we're going to be supporting Interpol and Spoon. And then after that, we're doing a few shows with Pavement.
I mean, between, Interpol, Pavement, and Spoon, you're kind of supporting like indie titans. Like, how does that feel?
Supporting Pavement is pretty crazy. I was thinking and kind of talking to Jim when those dates came through, when we got asked to do them, that they were a band that we were just literally playing constantly around rehearsing when we first started. Like when we were like 15, we'd, it was like, I don't know, there was so much around actually playing. I feel like at the start, 20% of what we would do at a band practice was playing. And most of the rest of the time we were, getting high and feeding Jim's fish and listening to Pavement and stealing food from his parents' fridge. And I feel like that's such the experience that I feel around our music, and for like of that time, especially when it started. And it's nice, I don't know, to get to play those songs with that band that was kind of felt like they were there in some way with us at the start is really, really nice. And saying, Interpol and Spoon as well is amazing. Really excited for that.
A lot of those bands are also on your label, Matador,
Yeah.
who you signed to in 2020, which I mean is huge. So how did that, come about? And after 2 years, like, has it sunk in yet that you're a Matador band?
Feels like it's sinking in now that we're playing with other Matador bands. We can kind of, because for maybe 2 years we signed to them, but nothing came out. We didn't play any shows or really tell anybody for a while. But now it feels like we're a bit more a part of the family. We're sort of piggybacking on all of these really successful artists and getting to play with them in these amazing places in the world. Yeah, but I feel like I understand the culture more now as well.
The culture of Matador?
Yeah, the culture of Matador and what it means. And I think I understand the significance a bit more because I wasn't like particularly into Pavement at the same time as these guys. I was kind of like quite strongly against Pavement. But then I was like, I don't get it. But then a friend of mine gave me a CD, which was like their first demos, like a compilation of their demos. And then I got it for sure. And now I'm getting it more and more. Everyone's playing songs to me. I'm like, wow.
They go off.
Yeah, they do. They go off.
I love that you had to hear like a compilation of like demos rather than like the iconic Pavement album in order to really get it.
Yeah, it was just so like visceral and raw and like felt like something I could really get behind. And then it made the rest of the songs make more sense to me in the context. So
sure. I want to jump back a little bit and talk about Mirror 2, the album that you released in 2021, which I know that you wrote together while living in a share house in Queensland, and it sounds like it was very much like a sardines in a tin can kind of situation that album was born out of. So what was the creation of that album like?
Well, I'd like to say that we've always kind of been sardines in a tin can in some ways, but at that particular time we were living together, in a small house. Yeah. So I guess, and that was different. Like we spent all the time together.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it meant that we couldn't escape the vibe we'd created. There was it wasn't diluted in any way by having time away or having space and doing our own thing sometimes. It was all just very much deep in this chaotic mess. And it got a bit spooky at points. We all lost ourselves a bit, just in terms of being so close. We had 6 people. I was in 3 bands, and every member of every band was living in the same house.
That's intense.
Yeah, it was really intense. I thought
you kind of built yourself like this thing with every band around you, so you could practice all the time. And then
I thought I wanted to create like a hub, because then I could play as much as possible with all of them, with Soot and Mystic Fire as well as Goon Sax. And so I think it meant that the 3 bands kind of had more of an influence on each other, and also aesthetically as well. So like it's really amazing to look back on, but I don't know if I would go back there and do it again.
When you're making an album, in this kind of like very intense cocoon, I suppose, and the thing about the Goon Sax is that all 3 of you write songs, and the album has songs that sort of each one of you took charge on. So when you're in that very close-knit and collaborative environment, like what's it like when you share songs with each other and like chime in on each other's songs and maybe give feedback? Like what's the dynamic like for the 3 of you?
I think it's changed. I think we all bring in songs at kind of different stages of completion, or having written, Riley has often written more parts for different instruments, but the song's less structured, and my songs are sometimes more structured, but there's it's just a rhythm guitar part, and Jim's none of and all of those things.
Sometimes take like a year or something until of refining.
Yeah.
Of my own guitar part, like can take like a year or something of refining, but I think there's always like a lot of I don't know, just chatter between the three of us at different points in the rehearsing of the songs, and yeah, I don't know, just input. I don't know, listening, playing.
It's the nice thing about living together was that you didn't have to just share your ideas in the practice room. But if you had an idea like late at night or something, or you woke up, or you're having breakfast, you could just run to that person's room and go, "Hey, I was thinking this about your song, or this about the whole album, or here's an idea," and that kind of thing. My favorite part is probably the different rooms that we were in that house, and how they.
I remember that for a lot of the songs. Like what room we were in.
Yeah, when we first played the songs, like I remember a song called Tag we played in my room, and it was raining, and we were all just like, someone was in the hallway and there were two of us just on the floor in my room, and it was really, really slow, and we just kept playing for hours and feeling it out. Too Chord Mayhem. Yeah, so it's nice how images like that shape our memory of the songs and maybe how we play them a bit as well.
And it's nice for music to get the chance to not just be made intentionally, but you kind of, when you're living together, you can kind of act on those unintentional moments together, which I think, that changes, what the start of a song can be when it's not something that you just bring in or something that you deem good enough, but just something really, really fast that you just try momentarily. And I think I really like making music like that, and allowing more of it to come from that kind of a place was really good.
Like that spontaneous creation.
Yeah. And thoughts that might seem silly or that you might discount when you're like, you've got a 3-hour practice booked and you're like, I'm going to show these guys my songs. You're not going to show them this funny little idea or something, maybe. Or in my case, I wouldn't. But I think living in that house, we just end up jamming those, or like, I don't know. It becomes more constant, and that's really conducive when it depends on what you're trying to make.
Perfect note to end on. Thank you so much. I've been Karen for NME, and this is the Goon Sax.
Thanks, Karen.